Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles. We're going to share some of our snakes that have moved, some of my favorites. And also on Patreon, we'll be sharing an update on the reptile house and how that's coming. So make sure and catch that. And remember, what you see here is what we'll be selling in the future. Although technically on Patreon, there's a lot more for sale than just our animals at this point because we've allowed that other people will be able to sell on there who are members. So if you're looking to sell some animals to a community you like, you should consider signing up. Don't take my word for it. Talk to some other members and they'll tell you whether it's worthwhile or not. Let's get going today though, and we're going to start with my favorite one over here. One of my favorite snakes of all time. Because this is my boy I made, one of my first gold snakes. And of course he's just gotten bigger, so we wanted to move him out of an FB20 into an FB40. And this is Zeus, the almighty Zeus, right? So he is a spider pastel axanthic and really nice, and you can see our work with the spider gene has made this pretty much spot free. There's one really light one here, but otherwise not a lot of spotting on him, which is what we were after. Very, very clean spider pattern. He does have a little bit of wobble, but not bad, especially when he's excited, which he is right now because he's out. And you can just see it with a slight head tilt, but he breeds fine, he eats fine. All my snakes are fed live, so he can definitely find his food, no issue there. But he is my buddy. I know, you're okay. Calm on down, buddy. So this is Zeus, our spider pastel axanthic. I'm going to put you back because you'll be calmer. And you'll see it too. Well, unless he tries to crawl out on his own. Nope, here, get in there. You're not going to run away. There you go, bud. And as soon as he's on the ground, I don't know how well y'all can see that. I'm going to pull that out though, so I want to show you something. You'll see when they're on the ground, he cruises just fine. No issue. No issue whatsoever. And that's pretty typical of spider. All right. Let me put you back. Pull that tab off. And if you wonder what these tabs are for, they were just telling me which ones I needed to film to make things a little bit quicker. Now this is a snake that's pretty awesome. Way more awesome than we thought he was even. So what this is a pastel lesser desert ghost that we bred, and after breeding we found out it ended up being 100%, well, it shouldn't say 100%, it's just het. It's het for cryptic, and we know that because we bred it to some het clowns, and by God, we threw some kryptons. So obviously that's what's going on. So he is a visual desert ghost, lesser pastel het cryptic. So he is an awesome, very strong powerhouse male. We'll be getting a lot of use out of him, although he's just started breeding last year. He's not very old, so we do kind of have to monitor him and not work him too hard. That's one of the things with powerhouse males. You get really excited. You want to breed him to everything, but truth be told, sometimes you got to slow your roll because you don't want to overwork the animal. So that is something we will have to monitor with you, isn't it, buddy? Yes, it is. Put him back. He is not one we produced. He is one we got from Florida, from Fireball Reptiles. As a matter of fact, you'll see us do a full video with our take on Krypton here soon. I want to let them shut out, which they have now. This is another little male we got there in Florida. This was our pastel, super inchy, vanilla ghost. So a whole lot of genes going on in this. He is another little one that's just getting to breed size. We'll be working him into our breeding program this year for the first time. He weighs right there at that 600 gram mark, so he is ready to rock. I would like to see him with a little bit more appetite, so we will have to monitor him closely to make sure that he's doing okay on that front. But a lot of times when you start breeding these little guys, they actually don't stop eating. It kind of helps them take off a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't, so you do have to keep an eye on that. And then that brings us to, I know there's more. Just one more? Am I missing one, Kurt? No, we got a couple more. We didn't. There's 4 though, we've only done 2. Did we do 3? Well, I forgot to tell you about this one, we have to do 5. This one didn't have a tag on it because I moved it later. So, this little snake here is a GHI Bumble Bee female. Now, she's pretty good size to be in the FB40 even. She could probably move to an FB70, but she's an odd snake. This is where it comes to knowing your animals is very important. She does not eat well in large environments. She needs to feel secure. She needs to feel safe. She needs to feel tight and confined. I want to make sure she feeds well even FB40. Them being not as wide, I think she's going to be very successful in. She has been in an FB20. When we got her, she was pretty small. They were having trouble getting her to feed. That's why we got her. And she eats great now, as you can see, but it took a while, and being in that smaller environment is a major part of what helped her. So, again, you have to know each individual snake and how they feed. And she can be cranky, but usually she'll just do that and kind of back down on you. So I'll put her back. She also is one that, weirdly enough, which she did it to me this week, when you clean her tup, right? When you go through and you clean everything, she'll stop eating for a week or two. She likes it to be a little dirty. I don't know why, but obviously you can't leave it dirty all the time, so you have to clean it. But I know when I clean it, she's probably going to skip a meal on me. This one has not skipped meals, likely at all. So this is another one we purchased. This one came way of Tails and Scales out of Wichita, Kansas. Tails and Scales is a very reputable place. If you've never heard of them, you should really look them up. I really like those guys there. There are several guys that contribute to what they do when they go to shows. They're awesome. John Stoltz would be the owner of Tails and Scales. Great guy. We did the film at his facility. He's got more stuff than I can even imagine. And this is one of his Xanthics. He works SK. This is a pinstripe Xanthic. This is the one that when I got it, Kurt went, oh, great, really, another Xanthic. But as you can see, she's growing really well. We'll go and throw her on a scale for you, if I can get her to stay still. She's not going to be ready this year, which I didn't expect her to be. I don't think she will be. But next year, I would almost say it's a certainty that she will be. She's at 1,000 grams. So there is a chance she could get there late this year, the way she eats. But again, our goal is not to be super fast. We're not pushing this animal. I'm not trying to power feed it. I'm not trying to do any of that. Frankly, I don't care. If she gets there, awesome. If she doesn't, that's fine. She's already ahead of schedule anyway. Next year is perfect for me, so she'll get no rush. Really beautiful animal. And for comparison's sake, because I always think Xanthic doesn't show up well on camera. Try to keep that up if you can, Kurt. Unless you compare it to something. So let's compare an Xanthic pin versus a normal pin. Now this one looks a little skinny because it did have eggs, so still putting that weight back on. And these are both, adults, or sub-adult and adult, but the colors are pretty true. So you can really see that difference in the color from silver to the kind of, I don't know, you call that an earth tone of some sort. Almost like a mocha-ish. Brown. Well, brown is such a boring word to say, but yeah, let's call it what it is. It's brown. You know what they would call that? If you buy a Cadillac, so my wife, she likes those, they would call this brownstone, because apparently that sounds better than saying poop brown. I told the dealer one time, like, the interior shit brown. He went, oh, it's brownstone. I'm like, that's a fancy way of saying it's shit brown. So, but this, I hope on camera, highlights the difference with what the Xanthic does and lets your eye pick it up. Whereas before, it's kind of hard to see unless you have that contrast, I think, at least on camera. And now I'm going to herd 2 snakes at once. Not a problem. This is what the pros do, baby. Any questions? If you don't have any questions, then I don't have any questions. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We will see you next time. No, don't run out. You got to run back in. That's home. There you go.